Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm stoked to be here with you today. If you're new and enjoy NBA content, would appreciate you just taking a couple seconds of your time to like this video and subscribe to the channel. But if you haven't guessed, today's video is going to be on Josh Giddey, the point forward of the Oklahoma City Thunder, just 20 years old. But as soon as he stepped into this league, honestly, he stepped in as one of the better passers that this league has, and he took another jump last year. There's just some guys that have an innate understanding and feel for the game of basketball, and Josh Giddey is one of those people. I mean, the stuff he put on tape as a passer, as a 20-year-old, right? This guy is not even 21. This guy cannot drink. The stuff that he put on tape as a passer in a league full of grown men is incredible. So I had to make a video about it. Super versatile too. Does it in a bunch of different ways. Transition, pick and roll, top of the key, cutters, manipulation. He has everything. So if you enjoy passing within the game of basketball, and that is honestly probably my favorite aspect, you're gonna like this one. And on top of that, man, like SGA gets a ton of the credit for the turnaround that the Thunder have had, and he deserves it, right? SGA is one of the best bucket getters that the league has to offer. But Josh Giddey is so important to the offense of the Oklahoma City Thunder in that he makes everything go. He just connects everyone. If someone's open, he gets them the ball. He gets everyone into rhythm, into flow, gets people their shots, and that is so important for an offense. So I'm really excited to go through these clips with you guys. I hope by the end of this video you'll have a greater appreciation for what Josh Giddey does as a playmaker. But before we get into the nitty gritty, we're going to look at some stats because I know a lot of y'all love your numbers. Now, if you're new here, I've talked about it plenty of times before. My opinions are generally formed off of what I see. I just watch so much basketball, I'm generally able to get a feel for what a player's able to do, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. But I do think stats are a very, very valuable tool in that you can form very informed opinions by blending what you see, if you are watching a good amount, with numbers and using numbers to back up your claims. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this. If you have an individual question on any of these stats, feel free to comment below or hit me up on Twitter in the DMs. We can get into it. My favorite stat here is the high value assists per 75. That's basically passes that lead to layups, dunks, threes, free throws. He's very good at it. He's just an all-around basketball savant when it comes to passing the ball, and I'm excited to get into it. Let's waste no more time. Let's get into the clips. All right, so just off the bat, a little small thing at the start. Josh Giddey's an amazing inbound passer. Generally, if he's in the game, he's going to be the guy inbounding the ball, and he's perfect for it because he's a quick processor. He doesn't give anything away with his eyes, so he doesn't stare anything down. And then he's super tall, so like right here, he can see over Tobias Harris, easily make that pass to Lou Dort. And it's really just a great weapon to have because if Dagnall draws something up and space is created, an opening is created, Josh Giddey will time after time get the ball to where it needs to be. All right, let's get through two last examples before we move on. We got a sideline out of bounds here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. You'll see right here, Shea's about to break free, and Josh Giddey is a master of seeing things before they happen. It's almost like a soccer player throwing through balls. Watch how he's going to pass it to the spot where he knows Shea's going to be. Gets him an easy layup. All right, so Josh had plenty of dimes this year, but this is up there as one of my favorites. All right, we're going to pause, set the scene. 119, 117, down to 2.6 on the shot clock. The Thunder need to find a bucket. I want you to notice when he starts to make this pass, Lou Dort is not even close to the spot he's going to be. Poku's going to set a back screen here on Wes Matthews. Right about here is when he makes it, throws it to the spot, an absolute dart. Brook Lopez is in shock, Wes is in shock, and it's a tie game. Sorry, I lied. We got one more. We're going to pause it. This is when he winds up to make this pass, right? Doesn't seem like Shea is open. But watch him thread this needle to the spot that Shea is going to eventually be at. Leads it to a wide open dunk. That's just great vision. All right, let's get into the good stuff. And I'm just going to let a bunch of clips of Josh Giddey throwing absolute dimes to cutters roll in the background. And then as we get towards the end, we'll break down some of the better clips. But Josh Giddey just has an innate ability to hit cutters. And let's start with how, right? The first thing is his height, right? So even right there, Walker Kessler's on him. He can see over guys. Even if you have a 6'8" wing on him, he's generally, because of how tall he is, He's going to be able to see guys. On top of that, it makes the passing angles that he has a lot easier, because even if you're a point guard with great vision, sometimes if a bigger guy is on you, like right here, Jonathan Kuminga is 6'8", right? He can just see over and have an angle higher because of his height. So that's a big part of it. The other thing is he's a lightning quick processor. So if if you have a step, you're not going to have to deal with, I know it can be frustrating as a fan because we have a different vantage point than on the court, and it's a little bit easier for us from our vantage point to sometimes see cuts, right? But Josh Giddey is a lightning processor, so if someone has a step, the ball is there, and we'll get into some of these clips that break that down in more detail. But at 20 years old, he's far, far, far more advanced than what guys his age usually are. So you combine that, right? You have the height to see guys. You have the pass-making ability from your height and size. You have the processing. You can make every pass if you combine those three things. And the other thing is the Thunder have great off-ball cutters. So he's a great fit with Jalen Williams, who can use his length off of cuts. He's a great fit with Aaron Wiggins, who has great length, and once he catches the ball in the paint, it's usually a bucket. And for Shai, as good of an on-ball isolation player as he is, his length and smarts and IQ play really well with his cuts as well, as you've seen with a lot of these off-ball cuts. So it just puts so much pressure on the defense to be locked in on your rotations, because if a cutter off ball gets even a step, Josh Giddey is going to get the ball to them. And it gives you so much more versatility on offense, because now you don't have to just rely on ball creation from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You have so many more diverse ways to attack defenses, and it just makes you that much more hard to guard as an offense. And that's why I believe Josh Giddey deserves more respect for what he's done for the Thunder and their improvement as a whole. All right, let's break some of these down in more detail so we can really see it. So right here, we'll pause it. Shai, this is when Shai finally has a little tiny bit of separation. This is when Giddey decides to make the pass. It doesn't even look like on the bounce there's an angle, but look at that. That window is there for a half a second. If he doesn't hit it within that window, it's gone. I mean, this dude is just ridiculous. Here's another one. He is literally winding up to make this pass right now. Nobody looks open. And it's one thing to recognize it, like that's amazing recognition. It's another thing to make this pass and watch the pass that he makes. Perfect to J-Dub, so where he can catch it, pump, under control, and go get a layup. His passing is a ridiculous weapon. Again, guys, I want you to realize how not normal this is. This is when he's loading up to make this pass. Shai is nowhere near open, and watch where he makes this pass. He passes it to the absolute only spot that Shai can catch within rhythm and go and lay it up. It's just stupid. All right, we got a couple more. Stick with me, guys. We're going to pause it here. This is when he decides to make this pass, and we got a couple things we got to worry about. The first thing is DeAndre Ayton in the middle. Very tall 7-footer. We got to make sure we get it over him. And then you can't see, but Josh Okogie's on the backside. Torrey Craig's face guarding Jalen Williams. We've got to get it in between that window as well. So we got to get it over DA, in between the two defenders. Yes, Josh Giddey is able to do that. Generates an easy look for his teammate with his pure passing ability. All right, this one was disgusting. Let me set the scene right. Like, it is late in the game. Sometimes Josh Giddey makes passes because you just fall asleep. That's not the case here. And I want you to notice Jarrett Culver's guarding J-Dub, who's going to cut after this pass back to Giddey. Jarrett Culver barely gets caught on the screen, just a bit. And even Trae Young on the weak side is very intent and creeping in because he knows Giddey, hey, he might make this pass. Josh Giddey fits it into the only window it can be fit into, so J-Dub has an angle for a layup. Like, that is ridiculous. I'll run it one more time full speed just so we can see it. But this is just such a weapon from the top of the key. He can make every pass. All right, it's probably getting old, but again, like Wiggins is not even separated at this point. Giddey's at half court, like ready to make this pass. Watch, I'll just let it play. Boom, dot, right in between both defenders. Dunk for Aaron Wiggins. Okay, for real, I promise this is the last one of these type of passes, but I mean, this one was special as well. I had to show it. So you got to worry about KCP trailing. You got to worry about Jamal in that front passing lane. You got to worry about Aaron Gordon coming over and helping, Nikola Jokic coming over and helping. But Josh Giddey puts it in the only spot that SGA can catch and go up and finish. If he waits a half a second longer, it's gone. If he puts it in any other spot, it's gone. But Josh Giddey makes these passes look easy. Okay, so another aspect of this that is awesome with Josh Giddey is he has great awareness. So he doesn't have to look at the cutter per se to know it's there. And it actually goes hand in hand with our next segment, which will be the manipulation. But watch on these clips how when he's getting downhill, he's not staring at the cutter. Like right here, he's looking out to the corner, and you'll see when we unfreeze it, watch all the Kings defenders drift to the corner. But he knows he's going to Dort the whole time. Here's another fun example. He's going to get to the baseline, and once he gets to the baseline, you're kind of done because that just opens up all the cutting angles. Right here, do you know who he's going to? No. I mean, how could you? The Jazz don't know either. Watch SGA cut. As soon as he cuts and is a little bit open, he hits him. Doesn't need to look at him. Just has great feel, knows where everyone is at all time, and gets his team a bucket. Here's another one against the Detroit Pistons. Again, you let him get baseline, and that really opens up everything for the cutters. Because the guys know, if he's on the baseline, I'm cutting, right? And so right here, it doesn't really even matter if he can physically see you. He knows Wiggins is cutting. He knows where his guys are. And watch him make this pass. Like, that is ridiculous. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's truly ridiculous. Here's a nice look off to the cutting J-Dub. Perfect pass. J-Dub gets a dunk at the rim. All right, last one before we move on to the manipulation. And we'll pause it here because Dort cuts, and clearly he's open, right? The tricky thing is you don't really have an angle because you're mid-dribble with your offhand, and you can't really get it over the top because you need both hands. It'd be really hard to stop with the left hand and get it over. And if you stop and try and go overhead pass, that angle won't be there anymore. But watch this pass by Giddey, and with the offhand, how he fits it into that window. That is crazy. We'll play it back full speed so you can just see it. But I hope you guys are seeing, like, Josh Giddey is a at worst, top 10 passer in the league, and it's passes like this that are why. All right, let's move on to the manipulation that Josh Giddey demonstrates on a nightly basis. We talked about how, he has great awareness of where guys are and how he doesn't need to necessarily look at them to find them. Well, it goes another level deeper where he can stare at guys and look at places on the floor to move the defense, to shift the defense, where he's already thinking 2 steps ahead and saying, hey, I know this guy's going to be open. I'm going to shift my eyes, move the defense out of the spot, and then hit my guy. Let's get into some of these in great detail. All right, here we go. Denver Nuggets, KCP guarding him on ball. Nice little lefty in and out to get downhill. KCP recovers well, and then we'll freeze it. You see his eyes. It's really hard to tell from these videos, but his eyes don't give anything away. J-Dub does a great job of feeling the space. But because Giddey doesn't give anything away, Yoke doesn't know, Gordon doesn't know, and Giddey can just slip that pass in behind. All right, there's going to be a little bit of confusion in the pick and roll here between Jaren Jackson and David Roddy. And I want you to notice that JRE rolls free here. And John Conchar knows this, but watch him literally leave JRE to the corner because Josh Giddey is staring at Lindy Waters in the corner. From there, he uses his height to whip a pass over the top. JRE has a layup. All right, there's a lot going on here, but this is some high-level stuff from Giddey, but stick with me. First, you got to see SGA running on the left wing. Watch how he uses the threat of him to clear Dillon Brooks out of the driving lane and get Jaw up in the air so he can attack. After that, I want you to notice, it's a bad habit to jump up in the air like this, but once he jumps up, watch how he stares at J-Dub, and notice how Santi Aldama and John Conchar go to him, then he drops it off to Poku. He manipulated like 4 different players on this play, all to get Poku a layup. We'll watch it full speed. That's just really good stuff. All right, he gets downhill and draws Nurk here, and then we'll freeze it. Kenrich Williams and T-Watt are basically level here. If Josh Giddey stares at Kenrich Williams, T-Watt is dropping. But watch how his eyes go out. Watch how T-Watt goes out, and then immediately he can drop it off to Kenrich. All right, we don't even need to pause this one, but here he convinces all 4 Blazer defenders that he's not going to pass it to the wide-open Kenrich Williams in the lane bucket. All right, this one's super subtle, so you may have to pause it a couple times, but as he comes off this dribble handoff, I want you to notice he's going to give the most subtle of looks to J-Dub out in the corner, and I want you to notice the effect it has on Karis LeVert. It is just enough that Karis has to go out, and then he drops a perfect dime in between 2 players. Just rewind that and watch that back if you don't believe me. On this play, just watch Malik Beasley and Troy Brown. He just waits, moves them with his eyes, and then he's got a wide open three for Lindy Waters. That's high-level manipulation. All right, again, you can't really let him get baseline. Just puts the D in a tough spot. Watch here. This is probably Moses Moody's job to drop. But look, he's staring at the corner so he doesn't know. And if you needed more proof, watch how GP is out to the corner because he's reading Giddey's eyes. Once they move out, just drops it off to Wiggins. Layup. All right, again, watch how he's looking out to the three-point line at Lindy. He's probably scoring anyways, but he just plays it safe. Make sure he gets him a wide open look. Okay, and then obviously, for as good of a passer he is, he's going to be effective in the pick and roll too. Funny enough, a lot of times with the Thunder, you're just going to see guys slip. And once they slip out of it, Giddey does a really good job of, okay, they've slipped. There's two on the ball. I'm now reading the back line. Do they go with the guy who slipped, or do they go out to the corner or the wing for the shooter? And he's just making that read and finding the right guys every time. Again, the height plays into this as well. And there's just not really any pass he can make. So when you got guys consistently getting buckets on slips and rolls, feeling good about themselves, getting into rhythm, it just helps you in every aspect of the game, right? They feel good. They're more locked in on defense. They feel like they're getting the ball. He's just a guy that really helps contribute to winning because of what he brings you on the offensive end. Like, watch this next one. Shea's going to set a pick and slip. Watch how tight this window is. Perfect pass leads Shea in rhythm to the basket. He also does a really good job putting spin on the ball. You can't necessarily tell from that angle, but there's spin on that. These last two are my favorite. High pick and roll with Jalen Williams, who's rolling free, but he doesn't really have an angle. Goes behind the back, decides to do that in an instant. He's a special passer, bro. Here's another Jalen Williams pick and roll, and he's going to roll free and watch this dot with spin right into the path of Jalen Williams. Dude, I mean, how can you not love Josh Giddey? And then on top of all of this, he is amazing at spraying out to shooters. And from all different, he's super versatile with it too, right? Like here, he'll post up, whip a freaking dart to Lou Dort for three. Here, he's just running a high pick and roll at the top of the key, realizes, hey, Ibaka's a little too low. Let me hit my guy. Here, posted up low Bach. Immediately hits Lou Dort out of it. What do we got here? Denver. Immediately just, hey, my guy's wide open. I don't need to do anything else but get it to him. Right here, he's going to get downhill, draw the whole defense. He knows exactly where everyone is. Kicks it out to SGA. It's just so valuable because he's just a rhythm creator. He's getting guys in rhythm. He's making them feel good. This was a crazy lefty whip pass into Kenrich Williams' shot pocket. He drills the shot. And I wanted to highlight one last play that I just thought was ridiculous. He's going to get the offensive board falling down here, and watch how immediately from his back, he hits Trey Mann, who's able to get downhill. Probably a charge, but he got the block call and gets the and one. But that is Josh Giddey, man. He is so fun to watch. And that'll do it, man. I told you guys at the start of the video, he's one of the best passers in the league. I hope you now see with the proof of this video that, hey, shit, you didn't lie, bro. You didn't lie. And I told you he can make every pass. I hope you guys saw that too, whether it's just even an outlet pass in transition, half-court pick and rolls, slips, an initiator out of the block where he can see over, an initiator top of the key where he can see over, spraying out to shooters, getting downhill and dropping it off to bigs at the rim. Like, he just does everything. And again, that is so important because everyone is going to want to play with him. You're not going to feel like, hey, I'm not getting the ball enough, because you know, hey, if I'm open, Josh Giddey is going to feed me. Josh Giddey is going to find me. So that'll do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed going through the tape of Josh Giddey. And again, a reminder that this kid, he's 20 years old, right? Like 5 years of time will pass by, and he will just barely be entering his prime as a man. Like, imagine the type of stuff he's going to continue to put on tape. I love this Thunder team, but again, it's not just SGA. It's Giddey, it's Jalen Williams, it's Chet. They just have so many fun pieces. Cason Wallace coming to town. Mark Dagnall's a great coach as well. So if you haven't, make sure to check them out this coming year, because they are going to be really fun. And it's not just fun. They're really good. But thank you guys again. If you don't already and are on Twitter, follow me at HoopsDrive. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, would definitely appreciate it. But I love you guys, and I'll see you next video.